We'll be right back with Matt Stone, Trey Parker, Lauren Vieira on the afternoon shift. This is fascinating, guys, because the creative process is ever fascinating.
I can't imagine how many things there are to think about.
Honestly, a lot of it was just hanging out about. It's fantastic. I mean,
Well,
some of the good meat of the show is just us sitting around goofing around.
Instead of playing golf or something, it seems like a really nice kind of creative break from the...
You never think you're in the middle of the creative process when you're in the middle of it.
Right.
You think you're just doing something.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just telling my therapist, like sitting there going, I'm just going crazy because I'm not doing anything right now. I'm not creating anything. He's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, I just go to work and we're doing this thing on this video game. And we're writing. He's like, you're doing a whole South Park video game. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're creating that right now. I'm like, yeah, but, well, okay, yeah, I'm doing that. It's just like, you know.
I think that's awesome if it doesn't feel like work, then that's the best
Yeah,
part.
it feels like you're hanging out.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, we should do it again. I mean, if we had a room with a piano and a couple of guitars and a mic and some drums and us and Bob, we'd just start fucking around. 20 minutes. And play a song, and maybe the song would be funny.
And obviously you guys have a lot of songs in South Park too, but do you play music?
Gentlemen,
In bands?
Hey, how you doing?
thank you so much for coming in.
How you doing?
I normally direct the show, but I'm actually taking a couple of vacation days, but I wanted to come in just to meet
Because you have a lot of fans. You guys have a lot
And
of
also,
fans.
I'm the quote-unquote official photographer for the station and for the website, and I was wondering if, for 45 seconds when this thing ends, if I could get you to take a couple of shots.
I told you these were nice guys.
Yeah. I'm thinking Jagger and Richards. Just put that in your head. All right, just put that in your head. That's sort of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a concept. All right.
All right.
All right.
Some scotch and some cigarettes.
Thank you very much.
What'd you ask for? Sorry.
Oh, I was asking about bands that you played in and things like that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we both, like, he plays piano and I play drums and I play bass. I can't play guitar well enough to play in a band. I can play bass or drums well enough to play in a, you know, have fun. But enough done to like have fun and write dumb
Still
songs.
looking good at 15 minutes from the Kennedy out to Lakefront. Kennedy out to
And
O'Hare.
Bobby's an incredible
From
musician.
downtown,
Oh,
it's 26 minutes. Just to
he's
get
a
to the
school.
junction, it's 12. 9 in the express
He's
lane.
an incredible
The inbound
musician.
Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown, 33 minutes.
You don't
and
need these
17
if
from
you
the
don't want
junction
them.
in. Eisenhower is 24 out to Wolf.
Okay.
38 to Thorndale, in from
Yeah,
Thorndale
it
to
makes it
downtown,
sound kinda-
38.
Because I'm not taking it. Can you imagine if we took calls on the show? Like,
Like,
yeah, what's that one episode in 1999?
Yeah, no, that's what we always get.
We don't do it.
Will Kenny ever do, you know,
Oh,
who is
I can't even
Mom
imagine.
really have him when he was...
I'm the kind of morning zoo shows that you probably had to do too. It's like, yeah,
I just almost-
how old is Kenny?
We have to do one of those or something. I just refuse to do it.
You're in Chicago, or?
No, I don't know. Like, it's just that morning zoo crap. It's like, first of all, I don't want to get up and be on the radio at 6:45. Just, no.
Hi, I'm Sean Ali. I'm an
Stand up
editor
talking
at
the whole time.
I'm really proud of the work that
you know.
Mitchell did this year on this policy that would let undocumented youth stay in the country. We wanted to understand the position of a young woman who was not going to take advantage of the policy, and we could only do that through
Okay, we have about 45 seconds, everybody. We're going to come out with the clip and...
I bet you $1 billion.
Sorry, I want to tell everybody. We're going to come out with the clip and the theme for South Park. They'll ask you a question or two just to kind of talk about that a little bit, and then we'll go back to Book of Mormon.
I want to ask you a word about something. They don't tell me what to do.
To 98% of Americans. Mr. Obama said every day that passes without a solution causes more stress.
Have you seen the theater? Have you been to the theater already?
Yeah, we're excited.
When do you see it tonight?
Yeah.
For Chicago's
15 seconds.
City Hall, Mayor Ron Emanuel says
Yeah, we just got here a couple hours ago.
rented office space.
Sorry.
on
We just got to
the
town a couple hours ago.
Oh, that's great.
We just flew in this morning, the 6 a.m. flight. 6 a.m.
Oh, brutal.
I've
Today's
heard.
weather cloudy with a high near
Mostly.
46. Right now it's 45. This is WBET.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny! You bastards!
Okay, let's do that.
Welcome back to the afternoon shift. I have no idea what that was. Matt Stone and Trey Parker have no idea what that was. It was something from a show called
Some
South Park.
stuff.
Lauren Vieira, a freelance writer, my former colleague at the Tribune, wrote about Book of Mormon. in Chicago's Social. Book of Mormon opens December 11th at the Bank of America Theater. You can order tickets now. It's sold out for a number of months. Gentlemen, when this show, before previews even started, sold well in New York before previews, but you two guys couldn't have had a clue, could you?
The clue the thing about musicals in that format is that you do these workshops, and since we did work on this for years because we kept having to put it down for South Park, we would go into New York and we would put on this little very mini version of it, and strangers would come, we'd have sometimes 50, 60 people there, and the reaction was big, and we didn't have anything to compare it to, but it did feel like, wow, we knew enough about story structure and character and things like that. We're like, this works, we knew there was something about it that worked.
Bobby was also kind of talking about
now you call him Bobby.
Now I call him Bobby.
Now
he's an old friend. Robert Lopez was talking about he compared it, I think there was a quote in the story that ran, talking about Avenue Q, how there was a very slow kind of burn and build up, and then it was sold out for a number of weeks or months or whatnot, and then it kind of fell back down. But the show's been sold out from the beginning. That was a total surprise. So what are the nerves like, not knowing how it's going to play out in different cities on this tour?
Well, the tour, definitely there's a level of confidence now because we've watched it in New York work. So you're more working on a company and some actors that are bringing something new to it, and they're feeding it with their own energy and kind of turning it into something that's a little bit different, kind of has its own personality, but it's the same show. But to go back to the New York version, we had some confidence in it and we liked it artistically, but we just had no idea. We had never been through it, and I've never been more nervous in my life than those first preview audiences where those first paid audience comes in to watch it.
It's a really funny thing because we experienced it. We decided to kick off the tour in Denver. So we'd had this big success in New York, and some people were saying the thing of, okay, well, yeah, this is really big in New York, but how do you think people in the Midwest are going to react to it?
Right.
And we were like, we're from Colorado. Like, Matt and I are born and bred Colorado. Like, because they say, well, what do you think about Colorado people? We're like, we are Colorado people.
We know.
These young people, what about middle-aged people? We're like, we are middle-aged. We're middle-aged people from the middle of the country.
Yeah. So we keep getting that thing of like, it's funny in New York, but what do you think in other places? And it's really funny because we're just like, we are old and we are from the Midwest.
We have a sense of how When you watch South Park, I'm assuming you watch it with families or by yourselves, and there's no critical reaction. The first times you guys were in the theater, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, with that, you made a movie and you may have seen it in a theater. How did you feel about that? Because it's
terrifying.
It was terrifying, and then but again, when you look back, like Trey said, you look back at the season. We look back, it was electrifying too. It was really one of the more emotional months of my life because we put so much into it, and you're presenting it to the world, and it doesn't with movies or a television show. You sort of get the ratings, or you sort of get the first weekend. This was every day for 30 days. Every day we went to the theater for 30 days, and
it's
got
visceral.
That. And a lot of the actors from Josh Gad, Nikki James, Andrew Rannells, everybody, a lot of the people on the cast we had done workshops with for years, so they were on this journey too with us, and it meant as much to them, in some ways, probably more to their careers than us, and they were so excited. You really went through this as a group of people, and we just sat at the back of it. We just paced at the back of the theater. I used scotch medicinally during that period, I will admit to. It was just nerve-wracking, It was really fun.
Yeah, I have to assume, I don't know what the ratings for South Park are, but this show has got to be attracting people other than, and we know who they are, the real hardcore South Park fan base. It's got to have expanded way beyond that. Where are they coming from and why? I'm serious.
Well, the thing is, but we, as a fan, for me, as a fan of musicals, and as a, I think I always had it in the back of my mind that would be the ultimate thing to do, would be a live musical. And it's
what musicals were you a fan of?
Well, I was very into theater, even in high school, and I was Danny Zuko in Grease.
Really?
I was like, it was a big deal to me, and there was also the Evergreen Players where I grew up with Little Mountain Community Theater, and I went all the time.
What a great name for a Colorado
and it was just
like Evergreen Players.
We knew that it's a
such a different thing. It's such a different animal because, you know, people when they go to a show like this, they're usually getting dressed up, they're going out to dinner before, and you know they're turning. It's a night. It's a night. You know, whereas the other stuff we do, South Park, it's, you know, there's people that tune in religiously, but you know, it's there. You're kind of watching. It's on. You know, whatever. But it's so much more with this stuff. The audience becomes a part of it, and that's why, you know, it was weird for us because we're definitely the guys in Hollywood that don't believe in test screenings. And with our movies and with South Park, whatever, we do not ever believe in putting it in front of an audience and sitting there going, okay, they laughed here, they didn't laugh there. Because we've seen that ruin movies, and we've seen what that does.
Right.
And so, but with this, you absolutely have to, because the audience is a part of it. You know, it's all live and all happening with them. And there's timing with them and all of that stuff. And it's just such a different thing that we really had to stand back there and go, okay, this doesn't work the way we thought it would. We've got to work on this.
Based partly on the audience response to it, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just more, you know, more being able to sit there and go, oh, they don't get that. You know what I mean? Like, and not even just the joke, but just like, oh, they should be going, oh, right now, and they're not. Or sometimes we'd change a line, or you change a line 10 minutes before it, and all of a sudden the line 10 minutes later, everyone goes, oh, and you're like, whoa, okay, we got it. You know, and it was all of that was, every night at previews was a lesson like that, and learning something about it and trying out different things. And what's so crazy about doing something like this is the talent that's there, the fact that we could watch it one night, go in the next day and say, okay, everyone, this song's changing, therefore all the choreography's changing, and then your lines are changing. Yeah. And they were going to perform it that night again in front of people and with all the changes. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. And it's a totally different relationship and contract with the audience. I mean, like Trey said, people, like, it's expensive to go out in the theater. You're dedicating a whole night, you're getting dressed up, you're going out to dinner, and you're trapped. You know, you can't change the channel. You're sitting there in the room with people that are 100 feet from you or 50 feet from you on stage doing this.
Until halftime.
At least till halftime.
Then you can go.
Then you can go. But you know, that was something. Luckily, we were really cognizant of early on, and working with Bobby. It was like, this has got to feel, and even though in the tone of it, you know, it can't be too cynical. You can have that, but at the end of the day, this has to be a fun night out, and that's not a trite thing to try to achieve.
Of course,
that doesn't have to be at odds with the art of it. You know, it's like if you can make people walk out feeling good and feeling like they were transported, they went through this whole journey.
Or, you know, humming a tune.
Yeah, and we don't quite have to do that on South Park. We just have to sort of make it laugh for 22 minutes.
Well,
you know?
I'm so
and it's
curious,
free, you know.
I'm sorry. I'm so curious, too, like, what kind of feedback you're getting from your loyal South Park watchers at this point that surely might have tried to get tickets in New York or seen the show already. What kind of feedback are you getting from those?
You know, it's so fun. Everything we do gets separated. I mean, there's places Matt and I will go and they'll be like, oh, it's the guys from basketball. And it's just like, that's who we are.
That happened to
you know what I
me
mean?
the
It's
other
just
day,
like,
by the way.
yeah,
all the time.
It's just like, for some reason, and it does all cross over, but I think everyone compartmentalizes it. And we do such different things that I don't think, you know, people don't go, okay, well, how does this relate to South Park? Because, yeah, it's a humor take, but other than that, it doesn't at all.
How have you been able to keep that creative edge for 16 seasons?
Yeah,
it is you know, this is not it sounds like a stupid question, but it's not. That is a very, I think, difficult thing to do.
Well, the only thing I know that's being around other people, I mean, I know that one thing we've done differently is we've kept total control of it all. And we almost made the mistake in seasons 2 and 3. Everyone was telling us, well, no, now you guys collect the money and you get other people to do most of the work. And you come in and do the voices and you oversee stuff. And we thought, okay, great. And luckily, you know, once we did the movie, we're like, no, you know, this is our band, and every show is a song on the album, which is the season. And we're like, we're going to write, direct every single episode ourselves. And at least that way, it's the band is the same.
Being in a band is cooler than being animators.
So that's why
early on we're like, we're a band, but it is true that a band would never do that. You know, and it just that
it's
model.
A long career for a band.
That model, like the rock and roll model, whatever, of like going in and doing an album where you go and you lock the door and you go up into the woods, or you do, you know, and you figure out your stuff and then you present it, you know, and that's always been sort of the way we like working. And that isn't totally the way TV works, so it's a much more industrialized, committee kind of process. But for us, If we just always think of ourselves as a band, and I think we can keep doing that for a little longer.
Well, you'd be like the Rolling Stones going to your 50th anniversary
Yeah.
concert.